Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Hair of the Werewolf. I'm Lily, and I have here with me...
Not Chase. Lisa.
Yeah, I could call you Not Chase all day, but...
You could.
But I think I prefer Lisa right now.
It fits me better.
So, if you haven't guessed, this is going to be kind of a bonus episode. I have a guest with me. She's from Colorado.
Hello.
Well, not from Colorado, but she lives in Colorado
That's currently where I am at, yes.
And she's down here in New Mexico visiting me.
Hey.
So, in case anyone is worried, do not worry. She was tested.
I was.
She's had all her shots as well.
Vigorously tested.
Vigorously. Aggressively, I assume.
And aggressively.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
We're off to a good start.
This is going to be fun.
Buckle up.
So what we're actually doing here is doing an intro to an episode that we already recorded months ago.
Oh, God. It was ages ago.
Ages. Well, it feels like it with this year. So.
Right.
And I think we needed a proper intro because at the time, I didn't even have a title for the podcast. I had no idea. Like, I was still pretty much fresh, but I was like, I need to start recording anyway.
Yes.
And that was rough. I mean, I'm not saying those shows rough.
I mean, it was rough trying to record it.
It was rough trying to
process.
record it because I didn't even have any sound, like the sound absorbing pads that we can use. We were sharing a microphone.
Got real cozy.
Yeah, you're using Chase's right now. And we set up a table in the living room, and then we put a blanket over it, and then we were underneath it.
It was a cute little pillow fort.
We had a little fort.
In the middle of the summer.
In the middle of the summer, and we had to turn off the AC.
Yep. It was, we sweat.
So if you hear us complain here and there, like, who is hot? It's because we were I was dripping.
It was very sweaty.
My legs, because I was crisscross applesauce for a while there. When I got up, I'm like, I'm dripping down my legs.
Stuck to the floor.
Yeah.
See, it was more so my upper lip. It got nice and sweaty. It was a nice little snack that dripped into my drink.
I can see the condensation on on your whiskers.
Oh, how dare you.
Just kidding.
How dare you. These people don't even know me, and they already assume I'm a damn cat.
Or maybe it was just me looking in a mirror. Who knows?
Yeah, we'll go with that.
So yes, what we actually end up talking about is the Edinburgh Vaults.
One of my favorite. Well, not the Vaults. I enjoyed the Vaults.
The Vaults was great.
Edinburgh
but the city
is definitely hands down one of my favorite places in the world.
It was such an incredible place to be, and we were so fortunate that we were able to go out there.
Yes.
This was last year, obviously, before anything was
last year. Literally this time last year.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was incredible, and I miss it. So, but yeah, like I said, we got to do the tour, and I did some additional research as I do, and then I told the story to Lisa, because even though we were in the tour, and Alex, if you recall, was our tour guide.
Alex, he was fabulous.
He was.
Alex, if you're listening, you did a great job.
You did amazing, dude.
Fabulous.
Good job. And he did give quite a bit of information, like
he did
history and stuff like that. And we kind of walked around parts of the city as well on the tour that he told us of other stuff. However, I kind of had more material to share. Yeah. And I assume since you probably may have forgotten some of it, I refreshed you on some of that details as well that he provided. And I think it turned out pretty good. So I didn't want to throw this episode away just because I didn't use it.
How could you? I mean, I'm in it.
I mean, obviously, I can't throw you away.
You can't throw me away.
I've been trying, but I can't get rid of you.
Neither can you, listeners. I'm with you forever now.
I have a feeling this is not the last time we'll hear of you.
Absolutely not.
No. So I think it's going to work out really well. Yeah, is there anything else you wanted to add from that episode that we...
You know, we did we were probably slightly delirious from the heat.
Oh, Jesus, that's true.
So we enjoyed our drinks that we were drinking at the time. But
we were really slurping them up.
We were slurping them up. But I think it was the stories we were telling were actually really interesting.
Yeah, I'm glad.
And fascinating to hear. I think maybe I'm a little biased because we were actually there, which made it all that more real.
And we were able to visualize it better.
Exactly. Because we experienced it. We walked in those vaults. We walked those
How many people died down there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, but I think it was a fascinating enough story.
Okay, good. Yeah. I'm glad. So you hear that. So do not... abandon us. This is going to be a good story.
Do it.
Don't you dare.
Don't abandon me. We just met.
She has some abandoning issues.
I don't want to talk about it. This is not a therapy podcast.
No, not at all. This is a scary podcast. So,
which, I mean, could be the same thing.
Actually, you know what? I use it. Whenever I'm sad, I pop in a horror movie. I just
perfect.
Makes me feel nice and cozy.
Absolutely. You know, that terrifying ghost that's crawling your ceilings makes me feel better about my life.
Yeah, I think I'm like, hey, at least I'm not possessed. Who knows?
Bright side, not possessed.
Yeah, at least
fantastic.
It could be worse. Yeah. That's how I live my life. Okay. Awesome. So anyway, who's ever out there, enjoy.
Yes, please do. And don't forget your beverage.
Oh, right. What are we drinking?
Oh, girl. We are drinking. So here's the thing. I'm drinking a White Russian, but I did have to substitute almond milk because your girl don't handle dairy very well. But here's the thing. I wanted to look up a name because I really didn't want to sound stupid on here if I just said, oh, it's White Russian with almond milk. And there's somebody listening saying, well, that has a particular name.
That has a name.
That has a name. I didn't want to, you guys, I just didn't want to feel stupid in front of you. So I looked it up. And all I could find was either vegan White Russian or skinny White Russian. And let's be real, I'm neither of those things. So we're going with White Russians with almond milk.
White Russian with a twist. Yes.
Ooh, I like that. White Russian with a twist.
That's how I'm going to say it. And people are like, ooh, she's exotic. And
I am. Exotic.
She's so interesting. I want to know her.
I'm so intrigued now.
Well, I hope you guys are enjoying, if not alcoholic beverage, well, stay hydrated.
Yes,
Drive
absolutely.
safe, however you're listening to us. But we're going to be drinking.
Tasty.
Well, with that said, enjoy our episode. Okay, so we are starting our first episode.
How exciting.
We're on our new show. I can't wait.
Really?
And as in we're already doing it.
What?
I don't know.
This is amazing.
So this is my friend, Lisa.
Oh, hi, guys. How's it going?
And I'm Lily.
Oh, hi, Lily.
Hi. And we are going to be telling you I'm going to be telling you scary stories about our tour.
Yes.
In Edinburgh. Edinburgh. I just wanted to clarify that I've heard many videos of how to pronounce this. Mm-hmm. Although there was that one time that we heard somebody say it's Edinburgh.
Yes.
And I thought maybe it was an accent thing and they were just being really fast about it.
I think so.
Okay.
I think we lacked the dialect that they do.
So it was an American Edinburgh is going
American bastardization of it, but it's okay. It's fine.
Going to get here.
It's fine.
Yeah.
We'll be all right.
And we will be also drinking.
What?
I know.
We would never.
I know, as you are literally sipping your drink. Here, cheers.
Cheers.
So every once in a while, you may or may not hear ice clicking and me stirring. It's turning into ASMR.
We're setting the mood.
Scary already. No, wait. Scary, not sexy. Scary, not sexy. Okay, so let me start. We actually took this tour ourselves.
We did.
Into the vaults.
Dun, dun, dun.
I love it. And let me, before we get to the good part, bore you with some history. And
throw it at me.
I will. Okay. Now, most of these facts came from Wikipedia.
Very reputable source.
I think so. I mean, they're more reliable than I am in history, so I think.
That's right. There you go. It's
like,
perfect.
It's someone smarter
We're
than
going
me
to use it.
I'm going to be using information from.
We're going to use it.
As you know, I think this was talked about, but it was built in 1785.
Mm-hmm.
I know you're so good with dates, so you're like, oh, I know.
I know where I was on that date.
And completed 1788.
Woo,
we're so having fun. Okay.
You're selling this really well.
Oh, yes. Sorry. I mean, yes, you should continue to listen. It's going to get better, I promise.
Don't give up.
I put this here like as a fun fact, but I don't know if it's actually fun. It's more just history. There was this woman who was chosen. She was like the wife of a judge, which, by the way, I couldn't find her name. So she's just a wife.
Yeah, she's just a woman. You know, not important.
And she was granted this honor to be the first person to cross the bridge when it was completed.
Ooh.
Yes. However, she died.
Convenient.
Before it was finished.
Ugh.
But don't worry, because they still dragged her corpse across the bridge.
Well, thank God for
to
that.
make sure it was still honored the way it was intended.
That's charming.
It was cursed is what a lot of people have described it. They're like,
what?
This
dragging a dead body? That's a curse?
Is now cursed, and all of you have cursed us. Yeah. That is indeed what happened. And this one was in the South Bridge Vaults. That's like the main arch that you see.
Is that where we went?
That is where we went, in the Cowgate area. The arch is where we were kind of hanging out.
Yes.
Like some cool emo kids under a bridge. So as time passed, when the construction of the vaults were completed,
yes,
I think, if you recall, these were not well built.
Oh, no.
So
definitely not up to code.
No, there was no OSHA guy enforcing.
Or gal, how dare you?
Some wife.
Some wife, no name.
Some
wife.
Some OSHA wife. It would leak. They never waterproofed it.
No.
And at first I was like, this is so stupid, but I read that the reason why they did this because they didn't have any money. And I'm like, okay, then why build the bridge? Because no one's going to want to
be in a damp, humid, wet.
If it was New Mexico, I'd be like, okay, so it floods like once a year, maybe.
Right. I would want this.
This is
we
Scotland.
Need the moisture. Yeah, they don't need the moisture. They're good.
They need dryness.
Yes.
So the construction, going back to this, people were actually using it since the day it was open. Merchants on top were running their businesses, and it was considered incredibly like prime realty. And so what they were using below was just for storage or for them to do their work. Like if they were a shoemaker, they'd be making their shoes downstairs and sell it up above in their shop.
Gotcha.
But not 7 years after it was open, the conditions were just so bad that people started leaving.
Yes.
Which is not a huge amount of time when something is open. But it doesn't matter because people still decided to live in there once it was completely vacant. And obviously they weren't able to keep legitimate businessmen in there.
Or businesswomen. Again, how dare you?
I really suck at this. Every single time I say that, I always default to men just because Spanish.
Well, yeah, exactly.
And that, since that was the only language I do for a minute.
Possibly how our society is built.
And society is not helping. It's hard for me to shake that out. So I'm like,
it's all right.
But don't worry, I'm glad that you're going to be here always correcting me.
I got you. Don't you worry.
Yeah, don't worry. I will forever correct you. Okay. So the vaults, they became a horrific sanctuary because I don't know if those words belong together.
That's interesting.
But essentially, since the streets were completely littered with people, poverty, plague, it was a nightmare to live in Edinburgh during this time. So
not just in the tunnels.
Not just the tunnels, but literally everywhere. And it was very sad. And a lot of people decided, okay, maybe we can just hide out in these vaults that people have forgotten about.
Yes.
But even as time passed, it was still awful. I mean, it was overcrowded in each single room. And I think you remember seeing those tiny, fairly small rooms.
Oh, yeah.
They'd be families of 10 or more.
I believe it.
One. I mean, there's just no irrigation. There's no air flow. There's
not at all.
There's nothing.
It was stuffy and stifling.
It was stuffy and there's no one in there. So
yeah.
If you can just imagine that.
Yes.
Okay. In addition to that, there was a lot of criminal activity that took place as well.
I believe it.
Taking advantage of these people. So they were considered slums and there were slumlords. And most of the people they were taking advantage of were Irish immigrants, they had a huge flow coming in during this time.
Why is that? Do we know?
I do know. Well, the Industrial Revolution was during this time. So and also they were in Ireland struggling and people were actually leaving because they were hoping to not die and live a better life.
Just seeking a better life. Yeah. Okay. Makes sense.
And then they land in a vault. So
much better.
Much better. I have no idea how they dealt with that. I'd be so fucking pissed.
I want a refund. Damn it.
So let's see. Where was I?
So sorry.
I don't know.
Definitely
I'm just going to take a drink.
Oh. Take a drink because I do have a question.
Okay.
But I don't want to sidetrack you,
Totally do.
All right. Question is, what was the original purpose of the tunnels? Why did they create the tunnels?
So at first it was genuinely because they wanted to make it a space for markets.
But how come they didn't go up? Why did they go down? Because most metropolis cities, or just any cities anywhere, typically go up. They build up.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Why did they go down?
Well, let me tell you. I don't know.
That's okay.
The weird thing is that never actually came across, so it didn't even cross my mind. Really? And everything that I was reading, they never said anything about that. Even when I was just reading the history and not the sketchy websites that show paranormal stories. I mean, like legitimate. Oh my god.
That's okay. You got it. Like 5th time's a try.
I'm gonna say legit now. I think that's why people say legit.
Yeah, because it's hard to say legitimate.
As you say it perfectly. Damn it. Fine. Well, just moving on.
You're doing great.
I don't know. I wish I did know now that you mention it. Maybe it was just a chance to drag a corpse above it, and they're just like...
It's truly what it's all about.
I think they were really hoping she'd die.
And really want to be able to drag a corpse across something, and it's difficult when it's tall and up
really
in the air.
It's really hard to fling a corpse across.
But I wonder if it's tied back to what you were saying, that it gave these merchants like storage space. So maybe it was easier to go down than it was going up.
Maybe, and again, because they didn't even waterproof it, maybe they found the cost to be lower if they dug underneath.
Well, yeah, obviously.
So, do you know what I mean? Like, if they were going to be cutting corners, one, it should not have been the lack of moisture prevention. But I guess, one of them was to not build upward, but downward.
And did they say if, in regard to the longevity of this, was it just supposed to be maybe this will be around for just 20 years and then we'll forget about it? Or was the intention, we want to build this and we want it to be sustained for years to come?
I think I genuinely think the way I read some of it is that they did want it to last. They wanted shops to stay there. And they were having, and I remember reading that they were having a hard time. Mm-hmm. And it was such a prime space because it was in the center of the city. It was a really good area to have a shop. Yeah. And that was enough to drive it for a few years. Oh, okay. Until it started to deteriorate and they're like, well, I guess it's not working at all. And building this cheaply just ended up losing the mass amount of money, the potential that it had. So it's unfortunate.
It is.
And so people suffered heavily for it because, like I said, there was a lot of criminal activity that happened. There were brothels, distilleries, illegal gambling, hiding of dead bodies.
Absolutely. That's
do you remember that?
I do, because that's, you walk down there and I don't think about, a lovely farmer's market is happening down here. No, I immediately think this is a perfect place to hide dead bodies.
Exactly.
Kill people and then hide them here.
And then just leave them there because no one gives a shit.
Just some casual sex here and there. Yeah. No big deal.
I don't know about you. That's often a following activity. There also is the famous Burke and Hare, if you remember who they are. They're the famous serial killers of the time during that time. They were actually just killing people so that they can sell their bodies to medical schools.
That's right.
Yeah, for, I guess enough cash for them to want to keep doing it. And I think they killed up to 17 people, something like that.
I do love
before they got caught.
That back then you could just show up to a medical school, say, hey, I have a dead body. No questions asked. Cool, we'll take it. Here's some cash.
There's a really good, I think this is actually where I got most of my information, was from Lore. It's a really good podcast. I don't know if you've ever heard it.
I've heard
I haven't seen the show, but the podcast itself is really good. And they talk about the history of it, and it kind of all suggests that the medical people knew. They were just kind of like, don't tell us how you got this body.
I just don't need to hear it.
But they also were like, it would be great and more valuable if you got us good bodies.
I'm not telling you to kill people, but
if you were, could they all be really intact?
Just one whole piece, please. Yeah, that would be great.
That's why they usually went to strangulation and. My foot is completely asleep, by the way.
That's great. We are in comfortable positions right now. So that's
I'm poking it. I can't feel it.
That's very surprising to hear.
Yeah.
I can stab it and then I can sell your body to medical professionals.
I'll just bleed out. It's fine.
That'll be fine.
I'm gonna do this weird.
That definitely looks comfortable.
Don't worry, it's fine, guys. Okay, moving on. Let me try to entertain you with some more history.
Yes, please do.
Either the records that they kept were really, I don't know, they just didn't have good records because every website that I went to, the date that it was officially closed was always between 1835 and 1875.
That's a large gap in time.
So I'm guessing what's happening is maybe it was closed and then people kind of went in and out still.
Well, when you say closed, does that mean they like barred up all of the entrances?
I think that's what they mean initially. Like they were shutting everything down and people weren't even going down there for illegal stuff. They were just like, this sucks.
Yeah.
And but I think the entrance itself was definitely officially sealed. Mm-hmm. All entrances, and like you really couldn't get in by 1875.
Yeah.
So
interesting.
So that's good. And then
close up those shops. No more sex for you.
But don't worry. In 1980, a guy named Norrie Rowan.
Oh, fucking Norrie. What'd you do?
Was like digging around in his property, which it never really said why. But I guess, you know, if you have property, you want to dig around.
Let's just dig around.
You're allowed to. It's fine.
I don't need to give you an answer why. I just want to dig.
And he found a tunnel, and he's like, where does this go?
Oh.
And that's how it was established that people have genuinely forgot about it after all this time. And when he dug it up, they were like, oh, yeah, the vaults, yo. Let's open that up again.
You know, people hid dead bodies and distilleries and...
So sanitary.
A little bit of sexy time. Yeah. I get it.
And, yeah. Oh, and don't worry. There's an area there that they still host events. They kind of opened it up and...
Like, what kind of events?
Well, when I looked on Google Images, a very reliable source.
Yes. Excellent.
I wanted to see what it looked like. I just saw a bunch of weddings. So people get married down there.
Good choice. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
I know I personally would.
Yeah.
Ravish at the idea of... getting married in a damp space, let alone a space where dead bodies were hidden and
prostitution
and
taking advantage of people,
you know,
oppression.
It's fine.
Disease.
It's very romantic.
I love it.
I'm turned on right now.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna drink some more.
I'm drinking. We should just keep drinking and forget we said that.
All right.
Okay, now on the really good stuff. The ghost tour.
Dun, dun, dun.
The one that we did. Okay.
Here we go.
Actually, on Wikipedia, too, they did acknowledge the paranormal activities that were down there. Which is cool, because sometimes I feel like it's a toss-up with Wikipedia.
Yes.
You'd be like, we're going to talk about this historical place, and people say it's haunted, but we're not going to say it here.
We're not going to acknowledge it.
Yeah. But I think the reason why is because there were two groups that were notable for it to be... mentioned, which one of them was Ghost Hunters.
Okay.
No, I'm sorry. Ghost Adventures.
What's the difference?
So they're actually two different shows.
Oh, I believe it.
So Ghost Hunters was my favorite growing up, but I think it's because it was one of the first that came out. I don't know if you remember, but they were like the plumbers. There were two plumbers.
It's very, very vague. In my memory.
And they had like a team, and they kind of did this on their spare time.
But it's very much like it's what you want to see in a ghost hunting show. They always give you something.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And I love it. And no, Ghost Hunters was a little different because they were very literal. They were very scientific approach to it.
Okay.
So if they didn't find anything, they're not gonna
try to elude that, oh yeah, we did see this or we did pick up on this.
They're like, did you see that? Or like if they saw an orb, they were usually saying, I think it was just dust.
Okay, so they owned up to like, this is probably not.
Exactly, and that's why I like Ghost Hunters. Now, Ghost Adventures is a little different. It's a little more
fun,
theatrical.
What?
Yeah. And it's entertaining. I mean, if you like that stuff, you're like, did you? Or didn't you? I don't know. But the host himself often, I guess he's more sensitive, so he always feels things more.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I guess, do you know what I mean? So I guess it depends who does it, maybe.
More sensitive to other things that happen in our world.
Exactly. Or lack of our world in another dimension.
On another plane.
On another planet.
Okay.
That didn't make any sense at all. Let's move on. And then the other one, which I found actually really fun, is there was this 2009 BBC TV production team that set off to do a special. Mm-hmm. And this particular, it felt like kind of a really long episode of him going around Edinburgh, and he visited a medium. He had he also visited a church or something like that. I didn't see the whole video because it was It's on YouTube, and there's like multiple sections.
Oh, okay.
Parts. And so I didn't see all of them. But the part I did see is when he goes to the vaults.
Okay.
Yes. So he had a whole team.
Okay.
Like a real good crew that went down with him to kind of set up, because the intent was that he was going to stay there the whole night by himself.
I'm going to say hard pass for me.
Yeah. Okay. So he was very... it's so funny because, he's not a paranormal investigator. He's not a professional, if you will. Do you know what I mean? Like, he doesn't do this for a living. He doesn't really handle the equipment a lot.
He does it for funsies.
Yeah, so it just kind of felt like they got this average guy to go down there and just be like, good luck. And
hope you enjoy it.
He was genuinely like pretty scared. He's like,
don't die.
I don't know what I'm doing. But I think because of a bit of his ignorance, he was less scared than maybe even just maybe you and I.
Okay.
That's how it felt to me. He was scared and he was saying certain things that were really funny. But I think deep down maybe he was like he was very kind of, all right, oh my God, I'll never do that again.
What? I'm sorry. Can we circle back to that?
His accent was so like this tough guy situation.
Hooligan tough guy.
Yeah, and I was like,
all right then.
So
no.
Now you can never give me shit. No, that was atrocious.
Whatever. I sound like a fucking natural.
Yeah, so that's how he came off, and I thought it was really endearing actually, because he was really trying. But he wasn't a douche or anything. He wasn't like a frat guy,
Okay,
he wasn't like a bro or something.
He just had the voice.
Yeah, he
that we cannot reenact.
And never will.
And never will.
Again. And yeah, so he's down there.
Okay.
And during the episode, right before they have him actually stay down there, there's a tour guide just very similar to the one that we had, telling him stories.
Which, can I just say, our tour guide was fabulous.
I loved him. What was his name?
I believe it was Alex.
I actually think it was Alex, too.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
He was incredible. Very theatrical. Very performative, but he really brought you into it.
Yeah, he really
and you're
did.
like, all right, I know this might be a little silly, but I'll believe it.
And he was very just... what you really wanted, because he doesn't care maybe if someone was rolling their eyes, it didn't deter him.
No, it didn't deter him.
And he was very much of a performance, and I liked it.
Yes, it was great. So I think that definitely added to our experience.
Yeah, it did. I really liked it.
Yes.
And I think the lady was kind of doing that. She wasn't as theatrical, but she was very serious about it.
Wait, which lady?
Oh, the one that gave the guy the tour.
Oh, the guy that we were talking about.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Which his name, what was it? Joe Swash. So I'm just going to call him Swash.
Swash. I like it.
Okay.
Swash.
And again, like I said, I had heard some of the stories that she was telling him, but there were two that I actually didn't know about. And that Alex didn't tell us about either.
Okay.
So let me read it here for you. That while they were walking, they stopped by a hole that was on the ceiling. That turned out that it used to be a chimney.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they're down in the tunnels.
They're in the tunnels now.
Walking around, they see a hole in the ceiling.
Exactly.
Okay.
And the guide starts explaining to him that the chimney, whenever it needed to be cleaned, it was very common to buy child labor.
Yeah.
Because I think you even see it in movies. Like, that's not something we don't already know.
Right, yes.
But what I didn't know is that you could buy a child for £1.50 for 7 years of labor.
Oh, I'm sorry. You could purchase a living child.
For his labor. So I don't know if he lived there. Do you know what I mean? Like, if I bought a child...
Right.
I'm buying his labor, so he has to come by probably at some point.
So it's almost like, not to justify it by any means, but it sounds like I'm paying the money up front for the next 7 years of labor.
Exactly.
Which just £1.50 sounds really cheap.
It actually does, but that's what she said. And I don't know if I'm giving it too much credit because it's BBC and maybe they would have been like, that's kind of bullshit. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I just took it as probably true.
Yeah.
Or if not more or less kind of true.
I'm sure it was still cheap, though.
Yeah. It's really hard for me to believe that they wouldn't be taking advantage of, like, poor, especially orphan children.
Oh, absolutely. That was happening all around the world, I believe, during that time.
Exactly.
Or at least in more developed countries, even in, like, and what year was this?
This would have been, if it's during the time that, the vaults was open anytime after 1788.
Okay.
Yeah. Early 1800s,
It's not surprising. It's
super
not
late 1700s.
We don't love it, but that was history.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what happened.
So anyway, the children being purchased. Sometimes the child himself, her or herself.
Ooh, look at you. Progress.
I'm so progressive
I'm
right
so
now.
proud of you.
Would get stuck in the chimney.
Oh, Jesus.
And so what they would have to do is rent a child.
Another
for
child.
a few pennies. So you're not really want to buy the whole price of the child's labor, but you want to rent one real quick. You have to pay a few pennies to help the first kid to get out of the chimney.
Oh, my God.
And the part that I was like, okay, what the fuck? Is that if for some reason the second child wasn't able to get the first child out, the owner would smoke the child to death.
Oh, I'm sorry. What?
But I don't know how that helps. Do you think
that literally doesn't help the situation at all?
But I'm thinking if they die, they can just like stick something up there and try to...
And just shove it out?
Something, yeah.
Well, I wonder if their thoughts are, oh, they're stuck because the child's moving around and resisting and rigid. So if I kill them, their body goes limp.
And not just that, but maybe I can pull them out hard without any complaint.
Right, without the child screaming to death.
Right.
Oh, cool. This is not horrifying at all.
No, not at all.
Great. Great.
Okay. At least the second child didn't die, probably. Unless he got stuck too, or she.
Well, the second child would die if they smoked out the chimney.
I think the idea is that the child's like, I can't fucking get him out, and the second child would come out too before the smoking began.
I'm just visioning the second child get stuck like it's a goddamn comedy act.
It's like a clown car. You're like, so how many children are in there?
How many children are going to shove up in the chimney?
I wouldn't doubt if that actually happened to us.
I wouldn't doubt it either.
Yeah. But as, you know, the guide kept talking and telling the story, the reason why she brought this up is because when the owner... And I'm guessing she means her boss or whoever started to open the vaults was cleaning the place, trying to get it ready for the specific purpose of giving tours.
Tours, yeah. And
you have to kind of really go through everything and make sure there isn't like a random human bone somewhere or something, I'm assuming. So I think they were really... I hope they were very thorough.
That might detour tourists,
you know. Like, what is that? Is that a skull? Yeah, but when the owner himself was up there in the chimney, and since nowadays you're not going to send a child up there to like figure out to clean it, he had some sort of tool on a metal pole, and he was cleaning it.
Yeah,
and a child's shoe fell down.
Through
it. So in his head, he's like, "Is there a child still stuck in there, or was it just the shoe?" But that was kind of a gruesome little.
That's horrifying.
Discovery that the owner had while he was cleaning the place.
Do my thing, cleaning, and there's a child's shoe, which makes our history all that more real.
It's like, it's real.
It's real.
And here's his shoe in the chimney.
Oh, God.
Yeah, it was really sad.
Oh.
But,
okay.
Awesome. Let's see. That was a really good one.
What else? Because you said...
There was another story.
Okay.
Yeah, that she told that I did not know about already. And the horrible story is that there was a big fire in Edinburgh, and a lot of people, and it was in that area too, just like a big, giant fire that happened, I guess.
Yes.
And some people knew about the vault, and they found sanctuary down there to kind of...
To run and save.
Well,
it is damp down there, so...
I figured, well, that place is not going to catch on fire.
Right.
What they didn't know is that the stones above were very conductive.
Ooh.
So it was essentially an oven.
An oven.
Yes.
Bake them to death.
And everyone died.
Ooh.
But don't worry. If you're worrying that some people suffered, some of the parents slit their children's throats.
Oh,
so that they wouldn't suffer the agonizing death of burning alive. Slowly in an oven.
Cool. Well, I mean, do they get...
I don't know if that was a positive part, but
I don't know. I mean... Do they get Parent of the Year?
Yes.
Do you give them a gold star? I don't know. You got to envision like, okay, well, as a child, I'm going to burn to death, or my parent's going to slit my throat.
That's not a very fast way to die, though, either, I think.
It not.
Would still be very painful, I think.
Exactly. Like, why wouldn't you just break their neck? Like, just a quick little...
We have to be able to do it, I think. I think it's harder to break a neck than you think.
It probably is.
I don't know.
And then you just hurt their neck. And you're like, oh, God.
Yeah, exactly. And they're like, now I just can't feel my legs. Thanks, Dad.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, my God. Yeah, I feel like both options are obviously awful and shitty.
Yeah, I don't know. I think maybe that was just like a desperate attempt to save them, but I don't know how effective it might have actually been.
Right. Well, because,
I wasn't there burning alive, so.
Right, exactly. In that situation of like, oh, I'm burning alive, burning to death. I don't want my child to do this. Slit their throat.
Yeah, because I can see how they, at this point, honestly, out of desperation, seeing your children blister and, essentially start melting away. But still alive, by the way.
Well, I'm enjoying these stories.
These aren't even the ghost stories yet.
So glad you decided to share these with me.
I am glad myself as well. So.
I'm sure everybody that's listening, all 2 people, are by this point.
It's actually us just re-listening.
It's just us re-listening. We had everyone until we started talking about children dying. We're like, oh,
especially
turn it
the
off.
shoe. I think the shoe might have.
Shoe. They're like, nope, I'm done.
They're like, I don't want to hear this.
I'm over it. I'm checked out.
I wouldn't blame them.
That's okay. But we're going to keep going.
I have to be here.
We have to be here.
Yes. So, now with Swash. So he stayed in the room that is considered the most haunted.
Okay.
And I think it's the one that we went in. I don't know if you recall us going into this.
The smaller, why did we go in there? What was his story?
So I'll tell you that in a second.
Okay.
Because that is another ghost story. So I'm going to tell you that in a bit. But I wanted to finish this documentary and his experience on it because I thought that was really fun.
But I do remember that room.
Yeah, exactly. So he did stay in there. And he said that while he was down there, he kind of heard maybe footsteps at some point. Okay. And maybe like low murmur sounds. Okay. But he couldn't quite figure out what it could have been or if he really believed, he heard something versus him being just absolutely terrified out of his mind.
Right.
Or just a rat.
And your mind playing tricks on you.
Exactly. And also, to be fair, there was a club above when he was staying there that was playing music. Exactly. And you actually can hear in the audio very, very low kind of a murmur of song.
That probably tied to it.
Yeah, so that was kind of constant. But even after the clubs closed,
he still heard something.
He still heard stuff. Okay. And I think it was around 2:30 a.m. that officially, the timestamp said now the clubs would have been closed. So anything we hear...
It's at least not club related.
It's not the super loudness of music that was coming through.
I wonder, the acoustics in there, I feel like you could hear it echo very far away.
You could. And I think that is fair to say too, because it was very echoey.
Yes, it was.
And that's true. Okay. He only actually made it for 4 hours.
Really? When did he start?
So he started, I think it was like 1 a.m.
Okay.
Or something like that. Because after the tour that, was given to him. And they wanted to make sure it was well into the night before he started to have the sleepover. So that was pretty cool. But yeah, he only made it 4 hours. That's 4 hours longer than me. I don't think I could have done it at all.
Yeah.
Alone.
Right. Thinking back, like...
With people, I think I totally could.
Easy. Yeah. But I think you, in that place, especially with no lights whatsoever.
Yeah, all he had was really candle lights around him. And I know he could have had his flashlight.
Absolutely. But being also just really damp and...
It's just not comfortable.
No, right. Knowing its history, I think your mind can easily run wild. Mm-hmm. And so, you might hear... in normal circumstances, there's like a rat, run across the floor.
Yeah.
But being in that location,
which for me is just like another level of look.
Right.
It's
absolutely.
not even the ghost. It's that nasty ass fucking rat in that corner.
Right. But I think in that situation, your mind amplifies it. Like, oh my God, that was a person running. Yeah. Somebody's in here. I'm going to die. Or I'm going to... have sex with somebody.
It's just a prostitute.
It's just a prostitute.
A ghost
no big
prostitute. Deal. Sexy. The way they were describing it is really funny because at some point he was kind of like, the camera was always on his face, obviously. Yes. That's the whole point. And he was kind of covering himself and he was looking around and it was perfect. I don't know who did the video editing, but it was hilarious because all of a sudden he had, in that classic form in a sitcom, voices going around of the scariest things that were told to him before he went into the vault. There was a children's shoe and her face would go around his face kind of thing. And so I was And you're like, I guarantee he probably is thinking about that stuff at that
it's
moment.
the children.
But the way they edited it was so hilarious. It's like death and like all these different words that it was, That's being said over his face. It was really funny. Afterwards, when he was done, when he finally called in the radio and said, I'm done, guys. I need to get back up there. They had a couple of days until they reviewed all the material, the videos and the audio and everything. And so when they brought him back in, they were like, we did find something. So they found for about 15 to 20 minutes, there was like a man talking.
Oh, I'm sorry. What?
Yeah, and I heard it too. You can hear it in the audio that they said. And
was it mumbled?
I didn't hear it for the full 15. It was not really, not muffled, not mumbled. Ooh, sorry, my pillow fell on my drink. And I thought I saw like my.
It was the man.
Live flash.
It was the man.
Eyes. Well, I just didn't want to ruin my computer.
The pillow.
Bastard.
He's here with us.
Son of a bitch. Maybe I can snap a picture.
So a man was talking.
Yes.
Could they hear what he was saying?
Kind of. I didn't hear the full 15 or 20 minutes of it.
Okay.
Because they didn't show it.
Right.
But what I understand is when they were listening to it, it was true. The way he was talking, it kind of sounded like he was reading from something. Like, not a chant specifically.
Interesting.
But constant talking.
Okay, so just constant talking, and not letting up.
And I think, and I think what most people might think is, oh, maybe the club above, you hear voices. Maybe it was multiple voices. Maybe you thought it was the one person.
Yeah.
But when you hear it, it is consistently one person.
About what time was this?
This, I believe, I don't know. I don't remember if they said it. If they might have.
Because isn't 3 the witching hour, the hour
it
that
was
the portal
after,
opens?
I believe, if I remember, is that it was after the bars closed, or like in between that time, like it had just closed and then the voices was still there.
Okay.
And the way they compared it, because they talk about it too, their sound technician said that the sound coming from the club had a certain frequency,
Oh, okay.
And what he was hearing was closer. So it wasn't coming through a wall. Or,
so it wasn't distant.
It wasn't consistent to what they were hearing from the club.
Okay.
Yeah. And then he goes also going on to say that, okay, you can also say that maybe he picked up another frequency. Like a radio of some sort. Mm-hmm. And the tech himself said, well, unlikely again. Like it wouldn't have been because there were 2 microphones down there. One that was to his body. And another one that was connected to the bigger camera that was far away.
Okay.
And the sound of the man's voice was coming closer to the microphone away from him. And if it was picking up a frequency, like a different radio signal or some sort, that wouldn't have mattered because it wouldn't be coming through the microphone. It'd be coming in directly in.
Right.
So it wouldn't have been, there wouldn't have been that discrepancy.
Interesting.
Exactly. So I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
Like, all right.
Okay.
And the guy's like, I didn't hear shit. He's like, he was totally, completely...
Which I think I would prefer.
...thrown off. Yeah, he's like, I didn't hear any of it. And he's like, and if I did, I would have left a lot earlier.
Yeah.
So...
I would have been out of there.
I do not blame him for that one. I thought that was a really cool little side story as well. Oh, and there was one other... I guess you call him EVP. Kind of just like the sound that was picked up from the audio. That as soon as a man stopped talking... a child's voice was heard, like a really high-pitched sound, and it was more like not a yell, like scare, but more like like kind of
like
really
sing-song?
Not sing-song, just very obviously someone there having a reaction of something of some sort, and it sounded like a child. And then there was a little bit of talking, what it sounded like the child talking, but it was indiscernible. I couldn't understand it.
Okay.
Yeah. But it, like, hit on cue as soon as a man stopped talking. And like, it makes absolutely no sense.
The children.
Yes, the children.
They've come back.
And that is not the end of the ghost stories.
There's more.
If it's, like, the most haunted place in the entire UK, then I
Really?
I feel like it definitely has.
Because I guess I find that surprising because... I do believe
that's what people said it, but I don't know.
Well, I mean, Edinburgh, has a rich history.
It does.
And a long history. But I feel like a lot of other places around the UK also have a long, rich history with obviously the potential of horrific things happening and then, paranormal activity happening.
Right. And I think there is hotspots for sure, but
maybe it's the history of the vaults.
A lot of times when I read about it or, came across that statement, it was very consistent with the vault saying it's the most haunted place in not just Scotland, but like, I don't know. Someone even said Europe, but I was like, I don't know about that.
I feel like that's a
I was like, all right, calm down. Calm down.
It is not. Well, because I think my impression was when I went down into the vaults, I think I was expecting something a little bit different. I think I was expecting it to be like deeper down.
I did expect it to be deeper.
Yeah. I don't know. And because it was damp, it didn't feel as creepy. It felt not welcoming, but normal.
Really? Okay. I found I don't know if stuffy is the right word.
It definitely
just humid, and I always find humidity stuffy.
Yes. And it did have a little bit of like a smell to it.
Dirt.
That smelly jet.
Smelly dirt.
Smelly jet. I don't know. I don't know what I was expecting. I think I was expecting something a little bit more medieval.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Or something. But there wasn't anything in there. It was just hallways and rooms, and that's it. Because usually with haunted places, there are objects or something's odd about the way it's built, and it was very simple.
Yeah, it was very simple. It was just like these little coves, like little areas, which made sense because everyone had kind of their workstation situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, it made sense the way they built it, but they just had waterproofed it. I feel like it could have maybe today. I don't know.
If they had waterproofed it would be a whole other situation.
Of all the things to cut corners on.
I know, considering where you are.
I know.
Consider the weather. Let's not skip on waterproofing.
I have no idea what they were thinking. Honest to God, I have no idea. But
they wanted this to happen.
They were like, we just want it to be creepy and haunted at some point.
Yes.
And, good for them then.
Good job, guys.
Mission accomplished.
Well done.
Yep.
All right, what else you got for me?
So, next stop is the ghost, the little boy, Jack. People estimate him to be around 5 years old.
Okay.
Yeah. Why he's down there, well, there were a lot of children down there at some point.
Yeah.
But specifically this child, one website said it might have been linked back to a disappearance of a little boy. But I don't know. I feel like there were a lot of them, and they were very vague when they said that.
Right. Well, considering they're sold for labor.
Yeah.
And people are killing people to sell their bodies. It's just... I think it's very plausible for a kid just to like, oh, he's gone missing.
And I feel like he probably was just, unfortunately, one of them.
Yes. Yeah.
So, yeah, he's known for holding hands and tugging on clothes.
Oh, boy.
Specifically, and only when there's ever a report, is women and children who experience this.
So no men have experienced being tugged on or hands being held?
No. As far as I read, and his ghost is one of the more common experiences that people have.
Okay.
Feeling his presence.
They're intriguing.
Yeah, and he's more just a chill ghost. The worst part is he'll try to hold your hand, which is really sad, kind of, actually, think about it.
It is.
Yeah.
This has turned sad.
I know. It's more sad than scary.
It is more sad than scary.
At all.
I'm not terrified. I'm sad.
But I'm slowly losing more faith in humanity as we go along. Okay.
That's what this is about. How to lose your faith in humanity.
And to further encourage you to drink. So, sorry about that.
Here we go.
Here we are. The other ghost, the most... I had to take a break there.
Get that drink.
The most evil one, I guess.
Like the ghost is evil?
Yeah, the most mean ghost that they have is this character here who's referred to as Mr. Boots.
Mr. Boots?
Mr. Boots. But in other websites, they said that he can also be referred to as the Watcher.
The Watcher. Where does his name, Mr. Boots, derive from?
So he wears big boots.
Okay. Like that he did when he was alive, or he's seen wearing boots?
So one of the places that I read was saying that was referring to Mr. Boots, and they did reference the same guy, calling him the Watcher. It's because while the merchants were above and actually using the space for what they were meant to be used as, there was a watchman that would go walking along the area to make sure that no one was taking or stealing, just a security guard.
Just kind of keeping the peace.
Exactly. And just kind of going up and down. And they think that he was one of them. But the weird thing is, he was known for mediums and everyone talking about the history of it. He did actually end up killing a woman in one of the rooms, which is the room that we went in.
Room.
Yes.
Why did he kill a woman?
I guess she was not saying that. She was a prostitute, and he hated.
Prostitutes.
And he was known to hate women, and I think he just took it out on her. Yeah, and ended up killing her and burying her actually in that corner that we were in.
Why did he hate women? That's what I want to know.
Why does anyone hate women? We're amazing.
Right? We're fucking fabulous.
Yeah, so fuck that guy.
Fuck that guy.
Yeah.
His stupid boots.
His stupid, ugly boots. I'm sure they're ugly.
The wrong color for his complexion.
Yeah, maybe that's why he hates me. He's like, women keep telling me my boots are ugly.
Women keep telling me I'm wearing the wrong color for my complexion.
Yeah, just stop it.
Stop. Okay, so he killed a woman in that room that we went into.
In that specific room, and he becomes the most active when people get near where he buried that body.
Okay.
And we were actually in that corner. I made sure to kind of scurry in there.
And he buried her in that room?
Yes. She's been since out, not in there anymore.
There was a dead body in there?
At some point, yes. I'm pretty sure there was a dead body everywhere we walked through that tunnel.
Oh, I'm sure.
So, yeah. And probably on the streets, too, when we were up there. Just because the plague.
Oh, yeah. The plague.
Everyone you're up there was probably a dead body. I don't know.
Okay. So, this room.
He is the most violent one, as in physically he might harm you. But it's said that he'll just, throw rocks at you. I can't imagine they're very big. Right. I was like, it was more like, what the fuck? What are you doing?
It's like a pestering
it's
fly.
Annoying. Yeah, exactly.
Fuck off, man.
What the fuck, dude?
So has anybody actually seen a rock lift up?
They just shoot across the room?
And shoot across the room.
That's
what I want to know.
In depth, but I think what happens is that people will literally get hit by the stone and being like, who threw that? And then there would be no one there.
I'm just envisioning this guy who's paid to hang out down there.
Could you imagine? I was convinced that was going to happen. I was convinced someone might have actually been down there.
I'm just part of the tour.
Yeah.
And he's hired to throw rocks at people.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah. But you know me. I'm a little more skeptical of this stuff.
You are.
I love hearing about it.
I love hearing about it too. I think I'm skeptical because I think I mentioned this when I was recording something with Chase, is that it's not that I don't believe in it. I'm not sensitive to it.
Yes.
Whenever I've ever been anywhere, they're like, oh, I felt dizzy there, or this and that. And I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about. But I do believe that there was a ghost. So for me, it's the opposite. Yeah. Where I'm like, I know there's a ghost in here. I just can't feel it.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you're in here, but I'll never know.
I can't prove it.
Can't prove it.
Pretty sure you're here.
Yeah, and you're probably going to be violent to someone near me. And
violent in addition to throwing rocks?
In addition, in the sense that people felt incredible fear, kind of.
They got really scared.
Very scared, felt a horrible presence. Some of them even said to the point where they kind of felt a little sick.
Okay.
But that was more attributed to another character that I'm going to say here in a little bit.
Okay.
So not so much the Watcher. The Watcher, you're more just you suddenly felt very scared and cold and vibes. No good vibes from him.
I don't love being in here.
I don't love that he's near me. Yeah.
It's not one of my favorite things in the world.
I certainly don't like feeling impending doom. But yeah, so that's kind of his jam.
Okay.
Oh, and one other thing. Every once in a while, you will hear him walking around, and you very specifically kind of hear the heavy boots.
The boots.
Do you know how boots sound?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you can hear.
Clonk.
Yeah, and
Well, that's like high heels. I don't know what that was.
Boom.
Nope. Boom. That sounds like a dog. All right. Well, I cannot do sound effects.
We can't do sound effects. We can't.
It's fine. We can't do accents. It's all right. I
can barely pronounce words. I can't even say legitimate.
Yeah. Oh!
Got it.
Got it.
I thought I was gonna fuck it up and be like,
it's all right. We have our dashing good looks. That's all that matters.
That is.
And our witty sense of humor.
As no one laughs.
It's their loss.
They don't know what's going on in our brains. If only.
So we have Jack.
We have
the boots.
We have the boots. And he'll also sometimes tell you to get out. He'll straight up whisper it in your ear. Or yell.
Although, yell back at him. Yeah. You don't know me, bitch.
I paid for this.
I'm
shit. Not leaving.
30 fucking pounds.
Oh my God, was it that much?
It was like 35 pounds. Dude. It was expensive.
A person?
Yeah. Or it might have been 25. I might be exaggerating.
Okay, I like how you went to 35 to 25.
I'm just saying. I think it was like 30 US. So 25 pounds makes sense. Okay, maybe.
Yeah. I can see 20 a person.
It was double digits and it was higher than 10. So it's expensive to me.
I can see that you remembering that more than me. Not because I'm rich and I'm just really bad with money. I wanted to do this tour so bad that I didn't care how much it was.
Don't care. I'll spend endless amounts of money.
So I don't want them to hear that because I don't want them to up the price. But
please don't up the price.
Because there's people like
we haven't named you, but please don't up the price. You know who you are.
You know who you are.
Alex. Who has control over the prices.
Right. I knew it. So next guy.
Yes.
The Aristocrat.
Oh boy.
This is a rich gentleman with a tall black hat and beard. Some might see him leaning against a wall and grinning at you. Kind of like a creeper, I guess.
Like, is it just kind of like a nice, soft, like welcoming grin?
So, I thought so too when I was reading it, but a lot of people say that although he doesn't ever cause physical harm, like, the boots guy.
Yes.
You always get a really creepy, sinister vibe from him. The people have seen him. They say
so it's like a creepy grin.
Really freaked out when they see him. Which I'm like, okay, well, you're seeing a ghost, so that's not uncommon.
Well, that's strange.
So I feel like that's already going to happen. But they feel genuinely, like, terrified of him.
It's the top hat.
It's the top hat.
It's always the damn top hat.
I'm telling you.
Does he have a monocle?
I'm going to say yes.
Yeah, you should.
Because I know.
That was a test. You passed.
Yeah, I passed. Yay! He has a monocle, guys.
Okay.
And a top. According to...
He's the Monopoly guy.
He has a monocle. So that's pretty much it with him. There's really not a whole lot of stories.
Okay.
Yeah. There's also the woman. I think it was Alex talked about this during the tour.
Okay.
He said this specific woman would scratch the bellies of women that were pregnant.
Oh, I do remember this.
Yeah.
Because I thought that was really creepy.
Yeah, exactly. And I do remember that he said that on some of the tours that he's provided, in his crew while he's been there, that at one point someone did experience this, didn't say it while they were on the tour, but emailed them afterwards saying, I felt the scratch, I thought it was just in my head, and not a week after she took the tour, she found out she was pregnant. So she didn't even know she was pregnant when it happened, but the ghost did. And scratched the shit out of her.
That's a hell of a way to find out you're pregnant.
Oh, when he told that story when we were down there, I was like,
dear God, if I feel a scratch, I'm going to flip.
I know, it's like, don't
Damn
scratch
it.
That'd be such a cruel joke if she did that.
That would be awful.
Like, no.
Psych, bitch, just wanted to freak you out.
Sorry, you're not
pregnant. That's just rude.
Yeah, oh my God.
I'm guessing she was pregnant at one point and then lost a child.
So they didn't say while she was pregnant, but she had been pregnant and lost a kid. That's how it was written. But the way it was written, I wasn't sure if she gave birth and then child died, or I'm guessing it was while she was pregnant. Like she lost a baby. Yeah, that's my guess.
Miscarriage or something. Yeah.
So that was a very specific scenario where she didn't even know she was pregnant and ended up emailing the tour people and saying,
that is interesting.
This is weird. But people who do know they're pregnant sometimes say that they will start scratching my belly. Those are just chicken tenders down there that we had earlier.
That is not a child. That's a chicken tender in my belly.
Chicken tender.
Chicken tender?
Let's hope anyway, because I'm drinking right now vodka. Vodka and soda water.
It's fine.
That's all I want in my belly right now.
That's fine.
Cool. Yes. And, so again, pregnant women will often feel dizzy. But I'm like, I don't know. Are you just because you're pregnant?
I know. Are you pregnant and you walk some stairs and it's humid? Because, bitch, I'm also dizzy.
If I was pregnant, I would be going down there first. I'm like, I'm already uncomfortable with this thing
I don't
inside,
be
so
even more uncomfortable.
Yeah,
so.
But hey, there's braver women out there than I am.
There really are. Get after it, ladies.
Exactly. Good for them.
Also, can we acknowledge my little makeshift scarf?
I did. I was wondering how you did that. Did you cut a hole in our blanket?
No, I didn't. I just I wrapped it.
I'm like, only your head is popping in, and I'm like, is it because it's so fucking hot? Is your back exposed?
Oh yeah,
okay.
My back is so exposed.
Oh, maybe we should describe what's happening, our scenario.
Oh, that might be helpful.
Because they're like, why are they even covering themselves?
You know, we're in a makeshift, soundproof little nook. So we have a table, right?
We have a fold-out table, yeah.
Usually you would put, you know, the microphone and like laptop on top of the table. But in this scenario,
where
it's underneath
the table.
And also, the table is on the couch. So here we are sitting on the floor, and we have this wonderful sound dampening thick blanket covering the table and therefore us. And when, you know, if you look at the time right now, we're at about 57 minutes.
Woohoo!
And it's hot as shit.
It's hot as fuck.
And so, you know, my head is still here, obviously.
But your body.
But my body is out from underneath the covers.
I'm not ever going to try to sing R. Kelly songs again. I'm sorry.
I think we need to have a take two.
I think we have to take two.
So go ahead. Go ahead. No, go ahead, sing it.
No, I'm not gonna I was like, what am I doing here? Oh my god.
Take two of you singing.
Fuck no.
Okay.
So
my daddy. Okay.
And
we're fine.
Okay, no, that's not gonna happen. Just kidding. Edit this out.
No
I'm
keep.
Kidding. No keep. No, and another thing is it's very hot. It's the summer, obviously.
Yeah, it's summertime.
And the air conditioner was turned off because we didn't want that disturbing.
It makes noises.
It's really loud. It's very loud in my house.
You know, we suffer for our art sometimes.
Yeah, for you guys to listen to this bullshit stories.
So, not bullshit. It's amazing.
It's true stories.
And you have loved every minute of it so far.
I have.
So, you're welcome.
You're welcome. Will you tell them that too?
Everyone.
Okay, good.
All right. Do we have another character?
We do have another character. We have... I don't know why I left this one last, because it's the most boring.
Oh, good. You really...
I really know how to end this one.
Really hook us in.
So, the shoemaker.
Ooh.
He wears leather apron and is old and has been seen smiling. People do get a good vibe out of him, though. So that's nice.
So he's the good guy.
He's the only good ghost that was able to get. And I guess a little boy. I mean, you don't really get...
I don't know, man. I've met some children who are little shits.
But this one is
tiny devils.
They are tiny devils. And but this man, everyone says that, and I say everyone, like there's like thousands and thousands.
Literally everyone.
Every single of the two people that probably have seen him say that they got a really good vibe, and he's just like a very nice old man.
He's a nice man.
They're like,
he's a really nice ghost man.
Nice shoemaker.
What a nice
How
man.
they knew he was a shoemaker, I'm not sure.
Right, okay, yeah. Can we touch on that? How do we know he's a shoemaker? Because leather apron...
It could be any...
Could
I
be
don't
anything.
Know. Maybe it was a very... Is it a sign? Like if you have a liver...
I don't know why we went to that, but okay.
If the shoemaker... Do they often have...
They do wear, like, aprons, like thick aprons.
Yeah.
But so do, like... butchers. Maybe not leather.
Well, not leather, I don't think. I mean, they're like, I'm butchering and I'm going to wear it real quick.
I mean, that's what I do with my leather apron. I'm just going to wear it real quick.
I'd be really concerned if you had the leather apron.
Maybe they saw him cobbling a shoe.
It sounds so hot to wear a leather apron right now. I'm just thinking about it as we're down here sweating.
Oh, no. I could never. Not right now.
I think you're right. These pants were a mistake. Okay. You're like, are you sure you don't want to switch to shorts? And I'm like, no, these pants breathe.
These pants breathe.
But this blanket does not.
1 hour later. They do not breathe. I'm hot.
I repeat, this was a mistake. Yeah, so that's the story of Edinburgh and the vaults.
That was great.
Yeah, and you were there, and I was there.
It was fun. I'm glad it was not a last minute thing. But it was a last minute thing, like us actually doing it.
Yeah,
we talked about
I wanted to do it.
Right.
I knew it was gonna happen. We just did it like whenever we could. However we fit it in. I mean, we weren't there that long.
No, and I think what was interesting is, there were a couple different companies that gave ghost tours. But a lot of them were the traditional, like, oh, we're going to go to some scary buildings and we're going to go to a graveyard and like, okay. But
like a lot of times there are multiple stops.
Right. Yeah. But this one, I think we found more appealing because you traditionally don't really go underground.
Exactly.
for like a ghost tour. I mean, there are the catacombs in Paris,
but there's no. Well, you know what? I don't know if you can pay for a tour, private tour. You probably could. I can't imagine why not.
Right.
But when we did it, they were like, "You're on your fucking own." Like,
good luck.
Yeah, and they don't follow the same safety precautions they do in the States. No. So when I was going down there, I'm like, "Holy fuck." Anyway, that's a different story.
Anyways, different story, different episode. But for this, it was, I think, more appealing and intriguing to go to a place you don't usually go to.
Exactly. And you wouldn't be able to either. I mean, it's very, I'm assuming, dangerous.
It's definitely a space not up to code. So, you know, it's, if something happened in the buildings above, it could make the vaults collapse.
Right.
And so then,
Oh, it's raining.
It is raining.
Oh, well, you can probably hear it.
Well, if you can, you're welcome. It's
very soothing.
It's a great way to end this episode. Very soothing. But we went to the vaults.
The vaults.
It was a great time.
I'm really happy we got to do this. And I hope whoever is out there right now and is even remotely enjoying this, thank you for listening. I really appreciate it.
I'm so glad you joined us on our adventure.
Yeah. I'm going to have to edit in how to, because I don't even have a social media.
Oh, that's fine.
Well, I don't even have a name for this podcast yet. So.
It's all right. We're gonna figure it out.
We're gonna figure it out,
Not
guys. By the time you hear this, I will have a name and at least an Instagram or something and a website.
We get it.
Okay. Thank you for listening. This was awesome.
Tune in next time, motherfuckers.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Dun, dun, dun.